been a couple days since I did the last message, because there's a lot of interesting changes in here, and I think people are noticing it now. What's up, dear sister? How you doing, lady? I had a feeling I'd catch you before you went on to your next endeavor, today's responsibilities. You know, I've been sitting here staring at this death card for a minute, wondering, you know, and what stands out on this card the most is the pale horse and the scorpion, right? Which the first thing that came up was scorpionic energy. I believe we're still reeling or having a hangover from whatever the moon represented in certain people's lives, I guess, collectively. You know, it might feel like you're hungover. There's a lack of sleep, lethargy. You know, some old habits might be coming up to where, you know, you feel accustomed to comfort. I believe this is a very challenging time for people right now because of the pale horse and what Pluto retrograde represents. It represents shadow work for some, reevaluation, depth, reflection, and revelation. Because of the depth and the reflection that you guys are undergoing energetically, whether it's people, places, things, you know, shit from the past, hey, it's all out, it's all over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, if you take a look at some of the things that are probably coming up in your life right now, maybe thoughts, you know, and spirit is saying thoughts and things, or thoughts are things, and things are not you, they're food. You know what I'm saying? So it's, when they say that, I believe it's about the experience. It's about us understanding what our thoughts actually are. It's energy in motion. It's an intention. It's a belief. And this is how we create things in our lives, is what Spirit just said. So as we're in this energy where you feel like your head might be down, or you feel like you're lethargic in some way, or you just don't want to do it anyway. Okay. And that's kind of the best advice that we could give you right now, is that whatever it is that's trying to hold you down is something that you're actually meant to push past right now. You know, especially in my life, you know, I've seen these experiences come up where I'm being challenged by the universe itself to see if I'm willing to stand up for what I truly believe in and what I say. You know what I'm saying? And this is a fortified fact, is what Spirit is saying. So, you know, you have to be able to back up your words and your beliefs and your systems, is what Spirit just said. So, you know, that being a revelation within itself, it's no surprise that the death card is out here. You know, because where there's death, there's rebirth, but there's also a reevaluation space that happens simultaneously as we go undergo those things, you know. And that's important to understand about, you know, cycles of transformation, death, rebirth, you know, however you want to look at it from that space. You know, it's all something that becomes way more apparent to you when you start studying it. You start getting, or it comes up in a moment where instead of reacting or coming from an old place of how to navigate these things, you actually do something new, something more positive, something more opportunistic, seeing the good in all things type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys are transitioning, transcending, or transmuting these things, understand that all it takes is a moment of presence to be able to navigate and honor these things for what they are, because it's a teaching space. Our feelings are not facts, they're food, right? Food is information, right? It doesn't matter how you look at it. When you look at it from an energetic perspective, this is what it is. It's information. This is why we feel the things that we feel. This is why we can taste the things that we feel, because it's all information. And we're all soaking it up consistently. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's important to understand that not only everything is energy, but energy is also alive. It is conscious. Therefore, it is living, thinking, feeling, everything. You're part of a grand collective, a grand connected to the connection to the universe. You know what I'm saying? And when we start to honor that, or we start to review these things in our lives, we start to honor that and give ourselves, show ourselves promise by understanding what's actually happening in our lives and being more inclined to trust the process of what's happening here, right? Because when we shift, we change. And when we change, everything has to line up with whatever change that is. And it could be some of the most minuscule things, of like picking up a pen after so long and actually writing something down that you haven't written before, and, you know, needing to express yourself, and then having the revelation of needing to express yourself because you don't feel right. And this is probably a 3 to 28 day cycle for people, where we realize that our pattern behavior gets the best of us because subconsciously it's trying to form that, it's trying to recreate that habit over and over and over again in our minds. And this is part of that lethargy. This is part of that condescending, cynical behavior that literally comes up in our lives, especially if you watch a lot of dramatic TV shows. I don't recommend them for people because they give you a false sense of self. That is not who you are. That's a show. That's TV. That's TV literally dictating how you feel about what it is that you are perceiving and taking away your control to understand those things, therefore manipulating your mind and hypnotizing you into believing that this is the feeling that's associated with a dramatic situation, and you've never experienced it in one way or another. So somehow it's different, and you can laugh at it, or you mistake it for what it is, and you miss the point of what's happening here. Is that we take life for granted, and the things that we, it's funny because this is what I tell my kids all the time: stupid is not funny. Okay. And I tell them for a reason. Why stupid is not funny is because we, as practical jokers, what we do is we like to have fun, right? But we're not exercising our boundaries as we have fun, right? So we have to know that if we're being stupid about something, that's not funny, because we're actually losing time that we can be living, especially as an adult. So I just wanted to, share that with you, because this is the mindlessness that goes on in the spiritual community and spiritualists, period, thinking that somehow this is how incremental growth looks like, without doing the digression, without doing the commitment, without, engaging in prohibition. So, some people are still indulging in things that they shouldn't be indulging in right now because they're abusing it, is what I'm being told, because of the level of comfort or the subconscious behavior that is craving comfort, lethargy, or complacency over the fact that now is the time for action, discipline, commitment, moving forward. And that's how you start seeing good things in everything, because now you're actually focusing on what the opportunities of the day bring versus the hindrances that you wake up and start feeling in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So it's check the price of pay attention here, fam. Because like when we start manifesting this energy and it starts building up, and I know you can feel it, right? It makes you want to do things. Gives you inspiration. It gives you motivation. It gives you drive. It gives you source. It gives you connection. It gives you communication. It gives you ambition. It gives you passion. You know what I'm saying? There's more courage. There's a more courageousness. There's more strength. There's more drive. Why? Because within a moment, we just got our energy up. And this is how we do this. This is how we go from down here to up here, by literally changing our perspective, or the way that we're looking at things, or the way we're looking, and actually manifest that energy, that passion, that fire that is literally within us, that is the source of our being. All right, in order to create something great in our lives and change or transmute any low negative energy that might be trying to keep you in a space where you don't belong. And this is all about traps right now. You know what I'm saying? These are the traps that we have set for ourselves, that we actually have the ability to have clarity now and legitimize why that actually happened in the first place, without going there beating ourselves up. We can look at it objectively from where we are right now and understand that shadow work is just a phase of our own discipline, our learning, and our commitment to ourselves to understand ourselves better and reconnect with the very thing that we are. Salah. And that's, again, they show me the Tau cross. One is discipline, is what I also hear here. So whatever heartache or emotions, understand that this is information you're being fed, right? And it might be because of your beliefs. It might be because of what you think. It might be because of how you act. And that is nothing but a reflection of how you truly feel inside. Therefore, some may be taking it personal, and that requires justice. That requires balance. That requires you settling into yourself and realizing that whatever uncomfort that you are sensing right now is not even around you. It's something that you're meant to see through. It's something that you're meant to see for what it is and move on from it, without necessarily having to navigate this grand path of being lost like we have before, and seeing the discipline that we have of staying in the now moment and anchoring ourselves in the information and the truth that's being presented with us, because what's being presented to us is actually teaching us about what is ailing us. You know what I'm saying? And how to heal that, For those of you who are looking for that type of alignment and healing, we have these energy services available, energy healing services and sound healing services that help you gain that clarity, shift your vibe, and put you in a more positive, good, well thinking area or vibration or frequency that allows you to engage and navigate whatever the shadow shit might be coming up, whatever the problems that might be ailing you, things that you can't get past, things that you can't think over, things that you put a pin in for later, that you can actually enact now and do something very good for yourself, very positive. Allow yourself to see this ocean of opportunity that is literally in front of you, gaining that clarity and being more proud to engage in it more consistently, you know? So with that being said, you know, this is spirit led is what I just heard. You know what I'm saying? But the abundance is clear because it is here, but it's some may think that it's near and not here. And that's the distance between you and now, and that's the distance between the reality that you so wholeheartedly can engage in by now, is what they're saying. So a lot of this happens to do with gratitude for the work, understanding that nothing that you've ever done is in vain, understanding that that is a discipline within itself, and honoring and being grateful for the things, even though so minuscule, and putting more love and heart and passion into the things that we do actually create beautiful things. And it doesn't matter how long it takes to do those things. What matters is that you put love into it and you get to enjoy every step of the way, you know? Salah. So you don't, that's definitely does not turn things upside down and think that everything is literally crumbling in our lives. It's no, everything is being revealed. And this is the opportunistic pathway that a lot of us have the ability to kind of perceive now, you know, because we're swimming in a sea of opportunity here, fam. It's been here for a very long time. And the only reason that we haven't been able to see it is because our eyes weren't peeled back far enough in order to be able to see them. But now everybody can see them in one way or another. And here we are with the indifferences and the remembrances that are literally coming up that are getting in the way of you seeing those things. And this is the gift that's being given right now with this Pluto energy, you know? So there's a gift in everything. Every day is a present. You know what I'm saying? It's a present. And there's no better time than the present. And metaphorically speaking, you can relate somehow because you realize that these things are starting to make absolute fucking sense in your life, and that you live this metaphor, or you know that this metaphor is real, and it tingles you up inside and aligns with you in that moment to let you know what you are sensing is a confirmation of what you are feeling and thinking simultaneously. So that's where God is. You know what I'm saying? That's where the divine intelligence is at. And we mistake these things on a daily for just an energetic reaction to something or a reaction to something, not realizing that we ourselves are getting information consistently, not only from spirit, but from our overall in fucking environment. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, there's sayings that you can't heal where you've been cut. So what you need to do is you need to get out long enough to be able to see how to fucking heal it, but you still got to deal with it somehow. You know what I'm saying? There's no walking away from yourself. And a lot of us are coming to realize that we've been walking out on ourselves because the way that we've been programmed to believe how life is, when the divine is teaching us what it is, which is fact, which is authentic, which is truthful to you and unique to your own experience, right? And that's the battle of sovereignty, the battle for the sovereignty. You know what I'm saying? Stealing your energy and making you believe that you can only be this much when in actuality, you're everything and anything combined. You know what I'm saying? And that's a very profound message to a lot of people, because it gives people the idea of how much they limit themselves because of their beliefs, because of what they've been seeing. You know what I'm saying? Not realizing that that has somehow become a belief because it's been repeated in your head so many fucking times that you're just like a parrot, like anybody else that'll repeat the same thing, not utilizing any thought or discernment or communication or commitment to see if that's actually true. And this is the grand review, is what Spirit is saying. This is the grand rising. This is the grand revelation. Is that what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? And they're showing me a hot air balloon, but the hot air balloon represents our emotions, and knowing that it's just hot air after having this conversation, that we can energetically connect with this information. And there's a biofeedback system that's also related to it, that is the universe itself literally working with us with whatever it is that we are doing simultaneously, always now, as long as we are present to do so and engage with it. You know what I'm saying? So there's benefit to everything. It's all about how we're looking at shit right now, fam. You know what I'm saying? So definitely perspective is key. And if something is ailing you and making you feel uncomfortable, then maybe it's time to switch the script on it. You know what I'm saying? No more violin, no more swan song, no more poor me, no more watching a show to make yourself feel better, no more picking up that cup. Whatever it is that's literally holding you back is being represented from here on out within the next 6 months. So by then, you should have realized all these patterns, addictions, and behaviors that have been subconsciously set out of habit for a long time, and be able to see them clearly, not necessarily engage in a way where it's detrimental to your own growth, but see it logically, and see how much emotional effort it took to keep it there and to build that. You know what I'm saying? That's grand orchestration. We don't realize that with these things, these problems that we create for ourselves, we build upon them thinking that that's the foundation. And then when God pulls the fucking rug out, you have an identity crisis because of it. And this is how astrology is key, because we become more self-aware and realize that these changes are happening in the now moment, in the day moment, with, a message or a collective that gives insight and perspective to these things that are happening simultaneously above all else. Because this is what really matters. What the only laws that really truly matter are universal law, and you're watching them play out in your face every day. And each and every one of you are participating in them. So if you haven't studied them, please do, and kind of like absorb that just for a brief moment to understand that those are the vibrational laws of the universe, and those are the ones that you really abide to. But we're also here to navigate the physical. We can't be space cadets. We're in two places simultaneously. So if you've ever heard that you're a bridge walker, or have you ever heard that, you're in more than one place at one time, you are. And sometimes you're just dealing with the fact that you're a spirit in a body that has all these thoughts and things that kind of drive you crazy, because energetically it has a memory of all those things around it because it's seen it so much. And that awareness is true. Because when you slow things down long enough, you realize that you are just reacting to everything around you in one way or another, and utilizing the thoughts that you've been given to see those things, right? To view those things, to enact those things. And a lot of these things are from a space that no longer requires your survival to do it, And this is the emotional value that we're seeing right now with this Pluto energy. And don't be surprised, because Saturn is also involved, So we're going to be structured about that too. We have to be disciplined in those things, not allowing us to carry it that far the way that we used to. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us are still exuding those habits that are still coming up that may be painful to review in one way or another. But the pain is not you, is what Spirit is saying. And that's the difference here, is the pain is not you. Learn from it. And that's what they're really saying here, fam. So if you're stuck on the other side of the fence, or you feel like you're stuck on the other fence, you're not. You're just wearing the wrong glasses, or you're looking at it. You're not looking in the right direction. Always north, always to the light, always ascending, ever growing, changing. Growth is a constant. Okay? And you can't plan for anything unless it's divinely led. I'm going to be honest with you, because right now that's kind of like how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm doing 2 minutes from now. And that's for good reason, is what Spirit is saying, because we got to learn and trust and have faith in ourselves in divine direction, right? Because we're all being led somewhere, because we're all uniquely led in that aspect, which eventually will become one thing, a unified construct. But we're not there yet, because there's still separation in all of us. And we shouldn't be surprised that these things are coming up, because God's literally just showing up the separation between us and itself, So what are we getting dramatic about? Maybe that's something that we have to look into ourselves, and that this deep reflectional aspect of Pluto will answer those things for you. You know what I'm saying? So be more committed, fam, to what it is that you really want to do with your life, regardless of how fucking hard it is right now. And keep your head up and point your direction north, because whatever it is that's literally trying to hold you back is something that you're meant to push through right now. Okay? So with that being said, thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed the collective message today. It's an honor and a pleasure to be me here. And I know that I get cranky when I don't come out here and help people and provide a collective message. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised if you see a little bit too much more of me, or maybe not, So I am doing personal readings today, fam. This is a donation-based reading. If you'd like a reading, in this space today, especially with Pluto retrograde and what that means to you with all the planetary energies that are happening right now, I'd be more than happy to do a reading for you today. It is a donation-based reading. I'm not putting a price on these readings today. This is also part of the collective energy. I can almost guarantee you that some guidance or reverberations of that guidance will literally commit themselves to these readings today. You can type done and how you donate it in the chat. The link is in the bio. And I'd be more than happy to align you with any messages that you need today. You are welcome, miss. Welcome in, Stephanie. Yes, you do. Believe it or not. Because you're going to save you. Depending on the situation that you're in. And even if you don't need saving, you're the one who is going to enact the favor in your life because you're the one who has to open up to it. You know what I'm saying? So the first step is realization that it's there and it's giving and it's ever giving and it's a constant. And then you have to have faith in that. And then the faith teaches you how to trust that and be loyal to it because we don't know we don't know how to do those things for ourselves unless it comes naturally to us. And that's the God honest truth. My wife is mumbling in the background. She's a truth teller too, dude. It's just when it comes out, it comes out.
Belief is 9/10 of the law. What you're doing is you're learning to trust yourself. You're learning to believe in yourself because everything outside of yourself has always deceived yourself. So therefore, you're trying to learn how to receive yourself in this paradigm. And in order to do that, you have to believe in yourself, but you have to also understand that belief is 9/10 of the law here.
Yeah. I think it's kind of one of those matrix questions. What if I told you that everything you believe about life is a lie?
But what if I also told you it's real?
You know what I'm saying? And I think this is that matrixy part where we realize that we do command the energy in our lives. And we give it away depending on what we believe to have substance or value. And I think that's a very important thing to understand because it takes divine discipline to be able to share these messages with you to help you understand yourself better and what you're giving your attention to. Because your attention is precious. It creates things. And when you understand the responsibility of what it creates, then you go on the path to understand what is getting in the way of that truth. And it all comes out to you as long as you're willing, and you don't give up on yourself. So pushing right now is probably the best answer. But don't force yourself to do something you don't want to do because it's not meant for you. And that's where discernment is key. Because if it's really bothering your soul to have to do something, then you really have to check yourself. And maybe it's time to make a change or a move. So, I'm going to get up out of here, fam. But if you'd like a reading or if you'd like Soul Counsel one-on-one, I am doing those Soul Counsels for a moment on live. Well, not on live, on our website, which is fourcornersrailing37.com. The link is in the bio. You guys can get there. And I'd be more than happy to do a private message for you, because some people just don't want, they don't know what's going to come out, and some people might not even feel comfortable having their business on our live. And we completely understand that. And that's why we have Soul Counsel available, the same thing that we do here on our website for those one-on-one. They're very informative. They can be healing. They can be navigative. And they can be all of the above, We've been doing this for years, and you'd be amazed on the things that come out for people in the moment. Oh, wow. That's big. That is big. It's been coming up in the energy lately. You know what I'm saying about legal matters? Family matters, community matters, and stuff like that. So that, that's Saturn.
And inheritance.
Brings that back. Inheritances. You got Uranus in the mix as well. So it's like, anything can go your way as long as you're willing to be informed. You know what I'm saying? And aligned. If you do the research, these things will happen. It will manifest, But understand that everybody has a choice. So don't have any expectation of any outcome. You know, and that's a discipline within itself, dude. Don't even get me started on that shit, because I'm still fucking. There's many levels to this shit. I don't know how else to say that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Dawn, if that's what you really want, you know what I'm saying? We also have Soul Counsel on our one-on-one space, you know, because I feel like I really need to get up out of here, to be honest with you. You know, and I got to go with what I know. You know, so you're more than welcome to catch me on a live tomorrow, or, you know, we can enter that space. We can enter that space of the website. All right. Much love to each and every one of you.